help us be God's flow of good in our own lives and in the lives of this world. And so for that effort, I have a CD with affirmations that I'm going to give to everyone who comes 5 of the 8 weeks, 5 of the 8 weeks. And here's how we know, is if you sign on the clipboard. That's how we'll know if you were here. So pass the clipboards down. So the first week we talked about inspired giving. We said that we needed to give the first 10% of our financial good to the place or person where we get our spiritual food. And that we can stand on the promise that will come back to us 100-fold. The second practice we talked about last week was aligning ourselves with our purpose. And we said that we all have purpose. The first level is for all of us, and that is to know our divinity, to know God. And the second one is something that's unique for you and you and you and me. We all have a unique purpose. And if we don't fulfill that purpose, it won't get filled. We said that there are 2 characteristics about that purpose. It must be of service, and it must bring us joy. And an aside is it might not necessarily be your job. So today we're going to talk about the third practice. And after our last song, what do you think that practice is? Letting go. Letting go. Renunciation. Letting go. So our third spiritual practice in living as the flow is to release whatever might be blocking the flow of God in our lives and in the world. Remember, I started with that quote from Lao Tzu. The human spirit has its source in the divine fountain, which must be permitted to flow freely through us. And that divine fountain cannot flow freely through us if there's any kind of a blockage. And can you think of some of the blockages that you might want to get rid of? Some of the blockages you know about? Fear. I'm too old. Oh, I'm too old. Anger. Electronics. Huh? Electronics. Speak for yourself. But some days I do have to let go of electronics. What are some other ones? Relationships. You mean there's somebody we might have to let go of in our life? Resentment. Attachments. Doubt. Resistance. Thank you. I knew I could count on that. Can you think of some times that maybe you have experienced a blockage in your body? Or think of somebody else who's experienced a blockage in your body? And Kim, with children, I mean, yes, I didn't think about that when I said that. I was thinking about blood clots, not poop. I was thinking about kidney stones. How painful they are. And yet you and I have so many times that we have things that we hang on to. How did y'all like the Millennium Prayer that we did? You love it? Did it feel good? Yes. The Millennium Prayer came out just before we turned the year 2000. And we played it in this church, and I almost lost my job over it. It's true. Because people said, It's not the one we sing all the time. How dare you change the Lord's Prayer? There is only one Lord's Prayer. Maggie's proven us different. Let's put it this way. We were singing the Millennium Prayer, and I went out of town. And when I got back, the person who was the board president at that time called me and said, I told the music director never to play that again. I told the secretary to take it out of the bulletin. We will not be doing that song again. It's a drinking song. And by the way, the board wants to see you on Friday. Well, it all boiled up. It all, it was a mountain out of a molehill. However, we never did the Millennium Prayer again because we had to hold on to the way we had always sung the Lord's Prayer. Oh my gosh. Did that not, seeing that video and singing that song, did that not open your heart? Did that not give you something new to think about and a new way to look at that prayer? How many of you are going to go home and pull up Cliff Richard's Versions on your computer? Yeah, it's that moving. But there are times that we get stuck. And my question is, what needs to be released in your life? What needs to be released in your consciousness in order for you to be the flow of God's great good? And the second question is, are you willing? Yes, I heard a yes. I love a yes. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, and Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, both said it is necessary that we release all thoughts and things that clutter up our lives. What's cluttering up your life? Letting go is one of the most difficult things that we as humans have to do, I think. Krishna had a story, and he would say, I have a special gift for you. He said that to the people. I have a special gift to you. Won't you reach out and take it? And the people said, but we have our mangoes. And Krishna said, well, put down the mangoes and I'll give you the gift of immortality. Well, give us the gift and then we'll put down our mangoes. What is your mango? It reminds me of that story that of the hiker who was hiking on the trail. He was going up these narrow switchbacks in the Grand Canyon. He lost his footing and he slid off the side, and he was hanging on to a branch, and he looked down, and there was a lot of down. A lot of down. He hung on. He said, is there anyone up there who can help me? And there's a great big voice that boomed down and said, yes, son, I can. And the hiker said, what do you want me to do? And the great voice replied, just let go. And the hiker said, is there anybody else up there? What is your mango? What is the branch that you are holding on to that is not permitting God's good to express in your life? And only you can answer that question. I can't answer that for you. I can only answer that for myself. All I know is that we cannot obtain our greater good while we're holding on to that which is limited. I know that the human body cannot go more than 90 minutes with a blocked heart artery before serious heart damage kicks in. How often are you and I holding on to what we perceive as good when really we're holding ourselves back? The Tao Te Ching says, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. Oh, isn't that beautiful? And our prosperity guru, Edwene Gaines, in her book, Four Spiritual Laws, says, you, me, you have the authority to release from your life all of those people, situations, relationships, objects, thoughts, emotions, and concerns that do not empower you. As a being that is growing and changing, you must let go of that which is no longer enriching your life. Wow. You have the authority. And some of us have grown up with habits. You know, my mom saved every piece of aluminum foil. I find myself washing out baggies. I have the authority to throw that baggie away. There are lots of things in our lives that we have the opportunity to clear out. And for some of us, physical things are important. Clearing out physical things are important. For those of us who collect. Now you notice I didn't say anything about hoard. I said collect. Let's see, I collect hearts, I collect angels, I've collected pigs, I've collected cookbooks, I've collected pieces of paper, I've collected stories, I've collected photographs of people I don't even know who they are. I've been throwing stuff out in my office in order to clear a space. Now, I have to tell you, what prompted me to do it is not this lesson. What prompted me to do it is I couldn't get anything else in a drawer. But you and I have to take the inventory. You and I are the ones that have to look at our lives and see what it is that is draining our energy and disturbing the calm peace of our mind. Only you and I can release the burdens from the past and begin again. Ernest Holmes said, if we would take time once a day to let go of all that is not true and lay hold of reality, let go of doubt, distrust, worry, condemnation, fear, and lay hold of life in its expressions of beauty, truth, and wholeness, we will be healed. Jesus said it in a little bit different way. He said, you do not put new wine into old wineskins. And so if I have this mind that is always judging, naming, cataloging, comparing, and something new comes in that's beautiful and precious, what am I likely to do to it? I'm likely to name it, compare it, judge it. Because my old wineskin has a habit. What if I am bitter and unloving, and the most wonderful person comes into my life? If my heart is that old wineskin of bitterness and unhappiness, can I accept that new love into my life? And if I accept a new love into my life, how long will it be good? We must let go of that which doesn't serve us. And I was driving down the street yesterday and Friday too, and it was the most beautiful sky. I was driving back from Cape Canaveral, and the sky was blue and these beautiful clouds. And I realized I was trying to make pictures out of the clouds. You know? And what I realized is that I got to the point that I was trying so hard to figure out what that cloud might look like, I no longer could see how blue the sky was and how white the cloud was. You and I have habits of mind that want to classify, judge, describe, name. That's a very hard thing for us to let go of, but that's one of the things that I personally have taken in my inventory that I need to let go of. In Edwin's book, she says, strive for order. The mystics tell us that order is heaven's first law. Now, frankly, I've missed that. You know, I knew that love your neighbor as yourself and love God. No one ever told me that the mystic's first law was order. And it should be ours too, because we can never feel our best or be our best when we are in the midst of disorder. And that's whether it's disorder physically, emotionally, or mentally. So today I'd like you to go home and take a step toward decluttering some area of your life. Whether it's balancing your checkbook, filing your paperwork, organizing your office. See, these are my inventory things. Complete any unfinished projects. Does anybody have any unfinished projects? Good, I'm glad, because if you do them, they don't weigh on your mind. How many of you have more than one unfinished project? How many of you, if you started now, finishing projects, you could last till the end of the year? Yeah. Oh gosh, the next sentence I almost can't say. It says, keep only what you're going to wear. Now, when we did Prosperity Plus, for the first time I made this this commitment that every time I was shopping and bought something, I would have to throw out something. And I don't mean throw it out. I would take it to CETA or pass it on. And so yesterday I bought 3 T-shirts and this top. That means when I got home, as I hung them up, I had to take stuff out. But I didn't. So now I have to go home today because I have to walk my talk. It's that simple. If you just keep stuffing stuff in your closet, it weighs on us. We need to put things back into circulation. You know, when we talked about inspired giving and receiving, you know, you can hold on to things too much. Holding on. And why do we hold on to them? Fear. Fear that we need it later. Those stories I hold on to. Oh my gosh. It's fear that says that when it comes to Sunday morning, I won't have the story I need. And really what that's saying is, God, I don't trust you to fill my mind with something to say. God, I don't trust you to fill my mind with something to say. Spirit is the essence of all that exists. Physical objects are spiritual energy, and all energy must flow to do its work. And when stagnation exists, creation cannot take place. When the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us, on and out, that we really express life. The law of giving and receiving is definite. Our co-founder said, beware of holding too much good in your hands. Think that for yourself. I need to beware of holding too much good in my hands. Why is that? Because if I'm holding too much good in my hands, I cannot get anything any better. I have stopped the flow of God's good in my life. Open-handed. This week, I invite you to implement this practice of having an open hand. If you'll take a moment, close your eyes. I have a few affirmations. This week, I let go of everything and everybody that is no longer a part of the divine plan of my life. I now let go of old and dissatisfying ways of living, old and unsatisfactory methods of work, and dissatisfying relationships of the past and present. I fully and I freely release. I joyously make room for my new good, which quickly appears in rich and appropriate form, and I move forward into my expanded good, divinely directed and lavishly prospered. I know that release is magnetic. Through the act of release, I now draw to myself my own. I now fully and freely release. I loose and I let go. I let go and I grow. I let go and I trust. I am the flow of God's great good. I am the flow of God's great good. Can you take that affirmation with me? I am the flow of God's great good. And that, my friends, is really the truth.